Welcome back to season two of the Courtside podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Keelan Lee. In today's episode, we dive into all the primetime games from last week, discuss if the Detroit Pistons are the biggest threat to the New York Knicks. We're also going to be diving deep into a potential first in the NBA, meaning things that have never been done in the NBA until now, and more. Now, before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the post notification bell, like this video, and comment down below who you have winning the title. You need your dark horse. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, before we start, I know it's late. It's like almost 1 a.m. I apologize for that. Um, Things kind of got a little bit out of hand today, so I apologize. But before we do, I want to give a quick shout out to my little brother, Stuart. Happy birthday. Happy 19th birthday. I hope you have the best day ever. I know you're going to school on that day, but live it up, man. Proud of you every single day. But anyway, in our first matchup, we got the Heat and the Knicks. And honestly, this game felt close. Like we saw the first score, Miami was up 29-18, but then it was just all Knicks. Peaking at the box score, Duncan Robinson had 22 points. Tyler Hero had 20 points. Bam Adebayo was held to 12 points, which is kind of crazy. And their bench was led by Khalil Ware with 10 points and Davion Mitchell with 12 points. Peaking at the Knicks, I mean, Mikal Bridges has been playing really well as of late. He had 28 points. Karl Anthony Towns had 23 points. Deuce McBride had 10 points. Josh Hart had 12 points to come off the bench. And their bench was led by Mitchell Robinson with 10 points. Next game up, we got America. We got another game. We got the Knicks, not the Knicks, sorry, the Warriors and the Nuggets. And honestly, this game kind of impressed me from the Nuggets standpoint because this game showed that the Nuggets at times cannot be heavily reliant on Joker. Like the Jokic is like a great player. I think he should win MVP this year. But this show they could have other guys not named Nikola Jokic go off, if that makes sense. Anyway, peeking at the box score of this game was, I think, for the most part, not even close. Like I said, Aaron Gordon, he had 38 points. Michael Porter Jr. had 21 points. Peyton Watson had 13 points. Russ had 12 points. And their bench was led by Zeke Naji with 7 points. Peeking at the Warriors, Steph had 20 points. Jimmy Butler had 23 points. Draymond Green had 10 points. And their bench was led by Gary Payton II, along with 18 points, and Jonathan Kuminga with 13 points. Peeking at the next game, we have arguably one of the most, I don't know how to say this, like weird games to put on prime time, and that's the Nets and Celtics. Like, not saying the Celtics should deserve to be on prime time, they do, but it's the Nets. Like, no offense, Nets fans, like you kind of understand me. Like, you guys don't deserve to be on prime. But anyway, peeking at the box score because this game was competitive. This game was somewhat competitive, which is hard to believe. But anyway, peeking at the box score, D'Lo led all scores with 18 points. Zaire Williams had 15 points. Cam Johnson had 11. Keon Johnson had 13 points. And their bench was led by Trenton Watford with 11 points. Peeking at the Celtics, I mean, Kristaps Porzingis, he had 25 points. Drew Holiday had 12 points. Derek White had 18 points. And their bench was led by a guy named Baylor Schillerman with 20 and Peyton Pritchard with 10 points. First time I actually recapped the Celtics game and the bench score was not Peyton Pritchard. Because if you guys been following along, Anytime I cover a Celtics primetime game, you know for a fact that it's Payne Pritchard that leads all bench score. But anyway, peeking at our next game, we got the Bucks and the Warriors. And honestly, this was a much needed win for the Warriors. Just because for one, Steph did not play in this game, but two, like they needed it. They needed a game. And even though it was Milwaukee, who's been a little bit funky as of late, as they always say, a win is a win. Peeking at the Bucks box score, Giannis had 20 points, Kyle Kuzma had 22 points. Weird. Brooke Lopez had 16 points, and Dame had 16 points. That is really weird. And of course, their bench was led by Gary Trent Jr. with 10 points. Peeking at the Warriors, Jimmy Butler at 24 points. Quentin Post had 10 points. No, not 10 points, 14 points. Sorry about that. Brandon Pozenski had 17 points, and their bench was led by who was it? But yeah, Buddy Hield with 15 points and Jonathan Kuminga with 10 points. Moving on to our next game, we got the Pistons and the Heat. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, this Pistons team is kind of giving me Detroit Lions vibes, if you guys get what I'm saying. Like after being kicked around in like the league for like so many years, the Pistons are roaring back. And honestly, I'm happy for this team. Like this team, like I told this to my brother last week. The Pistons were made fun of via the media, which is not a good sign. But hey, props to them. As we can see at the box score, Tobias Harris had 13 points, Asar Thompson had 14 points, Tim Hardaway Jr. had 10 points, Jalen Durham with 15 points, Cade Cunningham, who hit the game winner, by the way. If you guys haven't seen it, it's amazing. He had 25 points, and their bench was led by Malik Beasley with 16 points. Peaking at the Miami Heat, Duncan Robinson, he had 14 points. Bam Adebayo had 30 points. Khalil Ware had 14 points. Tyler Hero had 29 points. And their bench was led by Davion Mitchell with 12 points. Peeking at the next game, we got the Nuggets and the Lakers. And honestly, this was a bad loss for the Nuggets. This was a bad loss. Just because if you haven't been paying attention to the standings, the Nuggets needed this win. But, like they say, the Lakers had other ideas, you know. But anyway, peeking at the box score of this game in particular, it was like when I watched this game, it was like 9-0. Anyway, peeking at the box score of this game, Aaron Gordon once again balled out. He had 26 points. Peyton Watson, Michael Porter Jr., Russell Westbrook each had 12 points. Christian Brown had 10 points, and a guy named Jalen Pickett had 14 points. Peeking at the Lakers, I mean, Dorian Finney-Smith had 14 points. Luka had 31 points. Austin Reeves has been balling out, by the way. He had 22 points, and their bench was led by Jared Vanderbilt with 10, Gabe Vincent with 12, and Dalton Connect with 12 points. Peeking at the next game, we got the Nets and the Pacers, and like I said with the Nets and the Celtics, why are we putting the Nets on prime time? Like, no offense, Net. Like I said, no offense, Nets fans. Like, you want to see your team in the prime time slot, but come on. But anyway, this game was actually a lot closer than people give credit for. Like the Nets, for some reason, when I look at them, like they've been fighting back, which is kind of interesting, you know. But anyway, peeking at the box score of this game in particular, Zion Williams had 22 points. D'Angelo Russell, he had 22 points, and their bench was led by Trent Watford with 15 points and Noah Clowney with 10 points. As for the Pacers, uh, Pascal Siakam was held at 6 points, which is kind of nuts. Aaron Neesmith had 14 points. Miles Turner had a really solid game. He had 23 points going with 5 blocks. And Benedict Mathurin had 28 points and 16 rebounds. Damn. Uh, as for their bench, I mean, their bench was okay. Like Jarris Walker led all scores with 8 points, but Benedict Mathurin stole the show. Next game up, we got the Bulls and the Kings, and this was actually Zach LaVine's first game against the Bulls. And this game, the Bulls won. Like, I don't know what to make of the Bulls, to be honest with you. Like, this team is like they're in tank mode, but like they're fighting hard. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, Nikola Vucevic had 24 points. Trey Jones had 15 points. Kobe White, he's been on an absolute tear. He had 35 points. Kevin Herter had 25 points, and their bench was led by Dalen Terry with 9 points. As for the Kings, I mean, DeMar DeRozan had 22 points. Keegan Murray had 10 points. Malik Monk had 34 points. Zach LaVine was held to 8 points. And their bench was led by Trey Lyles with 22 points and Jake LaRiva with 10 points. Peeking at the next game, we got the Rockets and the Heat. And honestly, I kind of feel bad for the Heat, but at the same time, like they always say, you put this on yourself. If you kept Jimmy Butler, you signed him to a supermax, regardless of his age, it would have been fun. But it wasn't. I'm surprised how close this game was. Now that I look at the quarter by quarter system, I was really surprised at how close this game. But anyway, peeking at the Rockets, Amen Thompson, who looks like a demon up there. He had 18 points. Dylan Brooks had 11 points. Fred Van Vliet, sorry, 37 points. And Jabari Smith Jr. had 11 points to lead all bench score. Peek at the Miami Heat. I mean, Andrew Wiggins had 30 points. Bam Adebayo had 16 points. Khalil Ware had 16 points. And Tyler Hill was held to 8 points. And Davion Mitchell was once again the leading scorer off the bench. Peeking at the next game, we got the Grizzlies and the Cavs. And Grizzlies and the Clippers. Sorry about that. And honestly, I feel like the Clippers have the Grizzlies number. You look at it. I mean, I'm wondering, Keenan, how's that possible? Let me show you. Because if you click on the box score of this game right here, yeah, the Clippers won this game. 128 to 108. But what you're about to see might shock you. Wait for it. All right. Yeah, Jaren Jackson Jr. going for 23 points. Santi Aldama had 16 points. Desmond Bain had 10 points. And Sky Pippen Jr. had 15 points. Jay Huff at 13. And Luke Kennard in his first game against the Clippers had 15 points off the bench. Look at this. Clippers won the season series, which is kind of whack. But anyway, as for the Clippers, I mean, Kawhi Leonard had 23 points. Ivica Zubac had 17 points. James Harden had 30 points. Norman Powell, 14 points. Chris Dunn had 11 points. And Bogdan Bogdanovic had 16 points. Why I always forget this guy plays for Clippers? Like, I always forget that. But anyway, peeking at the next game, we got the Warriors and the Hawks. The Warriors' first game without Steph Curry with an injury. I know I said when they played the Bucks, that was their first game without Steph, but that was on a back-to-back. This is like their first game without him because if you saw his injury, it did not look good. But anyway, this game, not gonna lie, I got score updates from this game. This game was not even close. I know final score could look deceiving. It wasn't. Not even one. Anyway, Jimmy Butler had 25 points. Moses Moody had 20 points. Quentin Post had 11. Brandon Pozenski had 19. And Jonathan Kuminga had 16 points. And Gary Payton had 11 points. As for the Hawks, Trae Young had 25 points. Onyeka Okongwu, who's actually getting a lot better, actually, had 22 points. Zachary Richichet had 14 points. Dyson Daniels had 12 points. And their bench was led by George Niang with 23 points and Karis LeVert with 14 points. Next game up, we got the Bucks and the Kings. And honestly, this doesn't change my mind about the Bucks. Like I said what I said, this team is not a contender. And like, yeah, they won, but it's against the Kings, people. Like, come on. But anyway, looking at the box score of this game, because this game was actually kind of close. When you look at it, Giannis had 32 points to go along with 17 rebounds. Torian Prince had 15 points. Kyle Kuzma with 14 points. Brooke Lopez had his breakout game. He probably did, but like in my opinion, whenever I cover the Bucks, he didn't have a breakout game. But anyway, he had 21 points, and their bench was led by Gary Trent Jr. with 11 and Kevin Porter Jr. with 18 points. Peeking at the Kings, I mean, DeMar DeRozan had 22 points. Keegan Murray had 13 points. Jonas Valanciunas had 18. Zach LaVine with 16, and Keon Ellis with 20. And their bench was led by Jake LaRivia with 11 points. And the final game, I know it's a long time. We had the Thunder and the Clippers. And I'm not gonna lie, I watched like the last 4 minutes of this game. This game was actually like down to the wire if you looked at it. But anyway, peeking at the box score of this game, like I said, this game was coming down to the stretch. Like when I tell you this game was going back and forth, it was. Anyway, Shea had 26 points. Isaiah Hartenstein had 14 points. Alex Caruso had 14 points. Lou Dort had 10 points, and their bench was led by Aaron Wiggins with 19 points and Jalen Williams with 12 points. Speaking of the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard had 25. Ivica Zubac had 15 points. James Harden had 17 points, and their bench was led by Derrick Jones Jr. with 9 and Amir Coffey with 9 points. And that is it for this week's prime time slots. So now we're going to get into our talking portion of the video and discuss uh, some comments. As you probably didn't know or didn't hear, Udonis Haslem said something pretty crazy last week about the Knicks. And as you guys know, the Knicks have been a little bit funky as of late, but apparently, let's just say Udonis Haslem took a little bit too far about how far the Knicks can go. Take a listen. In other words, he thinks the Knicks are first round exit against the Pistons. So I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts. Look, I will admit the Knicks have been a little bit weird this season. Like they've been really good against bad teams, but when they play against like really good competition, they're not that very good. But as much as I want to say they're a first round exit, they're not. Look, I love this Pistons team. They're feisty. They're going to be annoying to play against, but they're not beating the Knicks in a 7 game series. Now, I know you're thinking, wait, Q, didn't the Knicks beat the Pistons in the regular season series or didn't they sweep them? Yes, they did. But here's the thing, and I hate bringing this series up because I look stupid while making that prediction. asked the Timberwolves and the Suns about that playoff series last spring. All right, because if you guys remember, the Suns won the regular season series against the Tim last spring. And what happened in the playoffs? Well, I hate bringing this up because it's aggravating to me. The Timberwolves swept the Suns in the postseason. So what I'm trying to say in like plain English is regular season series doesn't mean anything if you can't translate into the NBA and like in the playoffs. And right now the Pistons, they're young. All right. Now I do think they could hang around and be annoying, but no, they're not beating the Knicks in the best of seven series. If they do, I will apologize. But anyway, what do you guys think? Do you guys agree with Udonis Haslem? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, so we're gonna move on to our next segment, and we are going to be discussing about why I think each playoff slash play-in team will win the title this June, as of the current standings right now. So basically, I have a tier list set up, and basically, I'm going to give you guys reasons why I think they will win the title and what the title can mean for their team in general. All right, so bear with me because I might say the same thing for certain teams, but like I said, bear with me. You know, there we go. All right, so here is the tier list. We have this bottom tier for eliminated from the playoffs slash play-in as of now. Now I know you're thinking, wait, Q, why are the Mavs on here when they have the same record as the Phoenix Suns? It's because the Suns won the season series against the Mavs. But anyway, the Hawks. I'm just gonna say one word, Trae Young is the reason why they won the title. What will it mean for them? I mean, it would show that I guess it would show that Trae Young was not the problem. I guess I don't know. It's kind of hard because the Hawks are a little bit of a weird scenario right now. So yeah, I would say that. The Boston Celtics. I think they'll win the title because one, they have the experience to do it. They won it last year. In terms of how what means so much to them, what will mean to them, I mean, if you really think about it, there hasn't been a back-to-back championship since the 17-18 Warriors. So it's been like almost a decade since that happened. I mean, the Bulls, I mean, it shows that they're not, I don't know how to describe the Bulls if they win the title this year. Maybe just like this team is still relevant, I guess. I don't know. Cavs. Um, I think they could win the way I think the way they're playing right now, I would say, is the reason why they could win the championship. In terms of how much it will mean to them, well, will show that I'm gonna put them up another team up there, but it would show how to trust the process, and it would show they'll be like the Bulls in the aspect of like they won't be considered a LeBron franchise because if you guys know LeBron played for Cleveland for so many years, it would show them. The Nuggets. I think they could win the title because one, they have the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic. So that's number one. And number two, I just think when you look at this Nuggets team, they know how to win. And I think what would mean to them, well, for one, Russ could finally win a ring. That's number one. And number two, I guess it would show like Nikola Jokic is like a top 10 player all time, I guess. I don't know. Pistons, relevancy. Like I said in the beginning, like this team was a laughing stock for the past few years. This could, if they win this title, they could shut that all that up. And why I think they will win the championship, even though I don't think they are, but why? I just think youth, Warriors. Well, they got two guys that they're deadly in the playoffs, Steph and Jimmy. Um, in terms of what it would mean to them, well, it would probably for Steph, it will eclipse him being the GOAT point guard, and for Jimmy, he could finally get his ring. Rockets. I'm gonna put the Rockets and the Thunder up here because they're both in the similar boat. Is that it will show teams that like all it takes is like you go step by step. Because if you guys remember, these two teams were in the rebuilds. All right, now they're like top. I think they're all top three seeds in the standings right now. So like it would show like it takes time, you know. Pacers. I mean, I think offensively they have the talent to win the title, and they have something like they have an older group, but what it mean to the team, like they haven't won a title in franchise history. So I think that's a factor. Clippers, I mean, it will not only enable Harden to get a ring, but it would also show that, and I don't know how to say this in the correct way, so bear with me. It would show that they're not irrelevant. Like they're like they're like in the same tier as like the Cavs in the aspect they're not bad, but they can also, in a way, um, attract free agents. You know, but I think it will have Kawhi have three rings. And it will also help Harden with kind of his legacy. Lakers. I mean, they have like the Warriors. They have two guys that are the most terrifying duo to go up against in a best of seven series. Um, what would this title mean to them? Well, if we're talking historical, it would show um, that hard work pays off. Like, what is it? Like, what did I say? Oh yeah, what would mean to them? What would mean to them? Well, LeBron gets his fifth ring, and Luka can finally get a ring. So it would shut all that up. Grizzlies. I guess it would show why John Morant's the greatest Grizzly of all time, and why I think they win. Like this team is like really good. Like I'm not trying to gas this team up. This team is still really good. Like people tend to forget last year they had got the injury. So yeah, the Miami Heat, similar to the Clippers in the aspect of they can attract free agents to go there, as well as like show that they also won the Jimmy Butler trade in a way. I don't know. The Bucks. Um, I think that like the Lakers and the Warriors, they have two guys that can go crazy in any play in a best of seven series with Giannis and Dame. In terms of what it means to them, what it would show them that the it's Giannis is the greatest Buck of all time, but it also helps out Doc and Dame's legacy because Doc has a little bit of a bad history, you know, and Dame can finally win a ring. Timberwolves, I think it's like the same thing with the Grizzlies and the Bucks. Like it would show that Anthony Edwards is the best Timberwolf of all time, and maybe with why I think this team will win. Like they made it to the Western Conference Finals last summer, so like they know how to do it. The Knicks. I mean, they have the talent to do it. What will it mean to them? Like they haven't won a title in like since in like 50 years, so it could break that curse. And like the Clippers and the Heat in this aspect, they can attract free agents. The Magic. Why I think like I mean like this team is so good. Like they've had the worst injury luck of probably any team minus maybe the Pelicans and the Sixers and the Mavs, but like this team can win it, you know, because they have two guys that can go crazy in Franz Wagner and Paulo Banchero. But yeah, I think and it will show that like it takes a while. Like the Rockets and the Thunder, like it takes a while. The Kings. I'm gonna do the Kings, I'm gonna do the Suns last. The Kings, I mean, it kind of they have pieces to win it, and I don't know, it just they have pieces. That's all I gotta say. Why I think they will win this team. I guess it would put the losing mentality out of their misery, I guess. I don't know. And finally, Phoenix. Well, for Phoenix, why I think they can win the title this year, they got three guys when healthy. I know people are going to throw in the health factor, but they have three guys when healthy, are three of the most dangerous scorers in the NBA. What will it mean to them to win it? Well, for Devin Booker, it can show that he's the greatest son of all time. For KD, it could bandage his legacy because everyone's been saying KD can't win without Steph. This bandages that. And I guess for Brad, it just shows that like Brad made the right decision. I don't know. I could be wrong. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. But yeah. All right, so moving to our next segment, we got ourselves a good one. We have our courtside hierarchy for week number 24. Um, you know, so I'm gonna pull up my tier list up here. You know, again, if you're new here, basically I rank the top 10 teams according to myself. So I'm gonna do top four because I feel like it's given. I'll go Thunder one, fortunately. I'll go Thunder one. Cavs are number two. The Celtics are number three. And I'm gonna actually I'll put the Knicks at four right now. Five, I will go Lakers five, Nuggets six, Rockets seven, Grizzlies eight, nine is Golden State, and 10 is Phoenix. Actually, no, 10, I'm gonna go Milwaukee. I'm gonna go Milwaukee at 10. But yeah, those are my rankings for every single NBA team. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. And now to conclude our last segment, we're gonna do our courtside picks for this week. So I don't know if you can see my phone screen right now. I know it's really bright. I already wrote them down earlier today, so I'll give it to you guys right here on camera. I got the Lakers beating the Magic tomorrow night. I got the Suns beating the Bucks. Warriors Heat in Jimmy's first game back in Miami. I think this should be America's game of the week, even though it is. I'm just saying it should be America's game of the week. I got the Warriors winning that one. Thunder Kings. I'm gonna take the Thunder in this one. Lakers Pacers is a very good game, but I gotta take the Lakers here. I just think the Lakers are a much better team. Celtics Suns. I didn't want to pick the Suns in this one, so I picked the Celtics, but who knows? Mavs Magic. I gone back and forth with this game just because they're both struggling teams. So I will pick the Magic. However, the Suns and the Wolves. I'm gonna take the Suns. Yeah, I just think the Suns right now they need this win, and I think they're gonna continue going. Celtics Spurs. Oh, I didn't realize I didn't underline Celtics Spurs. Sorry about that. I am gonna take the Celtics to win this game. I just think the Celtics right now they're a much better team. They're a more healthier team. If you would, I'm gonna take the Celtics. Trailblazers Knicks. This is a really fun game, but I'm gonna take the Knicks in this one because I think the Knicks are the better team. And then finally, we got the Rockets and the Suns, and I'm gonna take the Phoenix Suns. So yeah, that is it for this week's episode of the Courtside Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video because I enjoyed making it. Even though it's like almost 1:30 in the morning right now. But anyway, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Stay safe, stay warm, stay aggressive, stay active. All right. Even though it's raining outside, try to stay active as best you can. If you're on spring break, have a blessed and safe spring break. To my little brother Suhoon, Michael, Damian Lee out there. Happy birthday, dude. I miss you. All right. Have an amazing birthday. I know you're going to school the very next day, but hey, who knows what's gonna happen. Proud of you every single day, man. Talk to you soon. With that being said, I'm out.